What do you think? Can I just explain what a Luddite is to him, though, Carl?
Yeah, please.
Is it like a caveman?
No, it was people that were protesting against the Industrial Revolution and went and smashed up machinery because they thought it was an evil that was going to ruin the world.
What was the machine they were smashing up?
I think it was something like
It's a giant robot that was going around killing
The giant robot that was killing all the dinosaurs. Yeah.
But go on, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just as we're wrapping up here, Carl. I have to admit that I was a little bit nervous about doing this interview with you. I'm a little bit nervous that this might end up as a diary entry. Is this interview been interesting enough to warrant a diary entry, or no?
Can I just answer that as well?
Sure.
He puts in things like saw a woman walking down the street, saw a fat bloke.
Well,
I think you're interesting enough to make it his diary. If you're not, you're in real trouble.
Well, that's why I'm hesitant to even ask the question. I would hate to not even make Carl's cut.
That would be devastating.
It is interesting, but not because of you, but just because of the way that I'm talking now.
Thank you.
Because I thought someone was going to be in this room chatting to us, and you're miles away. What time is it?
It's 11 o'clock in the morning here.
You see, there's the next invention then. Why is it 11 o'clock? Wouldn't the world run better if it's the same time everywhere?
No, the answer's no. The answer's definitely not.
But why? Because we'd all be on the same. We'd all have the same mood all the time.
Well, no, we've got that. We've got Greenwich Mean Time, if you want a reference point.
But everybody feels the same in the morning, don't they?
Oh, you're such an idiot. What's morning?
But just listen to it.
Listen, did you hear that groan there from Clark?
Are you guys...
He just felt like he wanted to give up living.
Are you guys... Is this started something? Are you guys going to keep on podcasting?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. Until every person in the world knows who Carl Pilkington is.
But it's just another invention. If we brought it out on cassette, no one would want to know. That's what I mean. Blogging, you mentioned blogging, but I've got a diary. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's always the same. This link that we've got now, it's clearer, but it's a telephone. Everything's done. It's boring. Move on.
Do you know what he said to me once, Clark? He said, everything that's that ever will be invented has already been invented.
Right.
And I pointed out that people said that in 1900. And he said, well, what's happened since 1900? I said, well, loads of stuff. He went, well, what's left to be invented? I said, a cure for cancer. He said, people have to die, otherwise rent will keep going up. That's what he said. That's his conclusion.
Yeah, he is concerned with the population, I know. That's been brought up numerous times in the podcast.
But it's just, as well, if you live forever, how do you plan stuff? You just keep putting stuff off. Whereas, if you know you've only got a set amount, then you go, right, what do I want to do? Let's get my diary out. There's no point having a diary if you're living forever, because you go, well, let's spread it out.
Well, I guess you can stop keeping your diary then.
I tell you what you could try if you could live forever, to try and type the complete works of Shakespeare with the book in front of you, and I don't reckon you'd ever do it.
Right.
Well, we'll leave it there. Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington, thank you very, very much for agreeing to join us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you
so much.
Thanks.
Cheers. Hi, I'm Ricky Gervais.
My name's Steve Merchant.
I'm Carl Pilkington. All right.
And you're listening to the World's Technology Podcast.
Can we do that end bit? Just hang on. Here we go. On the count of three. Right?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
And you're listening to the World's Technology
Podcast.
I mustn't look at him. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
And you're listening to the World's Technology Podcast.
Brilliant.
Surely that's what they're looking for.
That is, yeah.
Right, here we go.
That is more than what I'm looking for.
Do it once more. Hang on.
Okay.
And you're listening to the World's Technology Podcast. Hi, I'm Ricky Gervais.
My name's Steve Merchant.
I'm Carl Pilkington.
And you're listening to the World's Technology Podcast.
Oh. Somewhere, somewhere in there we got it.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
You're listening to Ricky Gervais with me, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington. Now, you probably know me from such works as The Office and Extras, Stephen being my co-writer and co-director on those things. For those people who are not so aware of Carl Pilkington, he was our producer, sort of given to us when we first started on XFM, and you're thinking, well, why are we doing a podcast? Why are we doing a podcast for no money?
Is there no money?
No, it's free, innit? It's free download. But this is what I'm here to answer. It's because I like to be in a room with Carl Pilkington. You know, like some people go and help sort of chimps.
Do they?
Yeah.
Well, they go to the jungles and things.
And help out little sort of endangered
Diane
species.
Fossey or whatever.
Exactly.
You're very much the Diane Fossey of the Manchester scene.
Of the little bald mank world. And Carl Pilkington is an ongoing experiment for me, because I've seen him blossom from an idiot into an imbecile. And I want to see it through. Look at the way he's looking at us through the glass. Look at that. He's got a perfectly round head. And that's why I'm doing this podcast, or bodcast, as I'm going to call it in his honour. Little round-headed bod-type freak.
If you're not familiar with Bod, we can maybe put up a picture of Bod, the popular cartoon kids character.
Go to rickygervais.com and you will see a picture of Carl and a picture of Bod.
And you draw your own conclusions as to the likeness.
Carl, what do you think about all this?
That's alright.
Are you excited by this new technology?
What? Podcasts?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, I mean, we are living in that sort of era now, aren't we? Like, you need to be able to listen to stuff on demand when you want it and stuff.
I know you're not a fan of the iPod in general, are you? Or any of the MP3 things? You're concerned?
I'm warming to it, but
this is what's amazing about Carl. Even though he's talking about things like MP3 players, computers, iPods, he sounds like he was found in a glacier and thawed out. Do you know what I mean? And sort of taught to speak.
We're a couple of high school guys who found him, and we're trying to ingratiate him in the gang, trying to pass him off with someone from the modern day.
But my thing with iPods is, now, do we need them? Do you know what I mean? We're living in that era now where we have invented most of the stuff that we need, and now we're just messing about.
They said that in 1900. Someone actually said everything that's to be invented has already been invented. They said that in 1900, and how wrong were they?
No, but what came out, at what point, what was invented in that year where they went, right, that's it now? What did they invent in 1900 that made them go, we've done it all now?
Well, just think a little bit, right? The 20th century. Think what happened in the 20th century.
Go on.
Well, cars, planes.
Yeah, but is that a good thing? Planes and that. Do you need a plane, really? Wouldn't it have been better if we all stuck where we should be instead of travelling about? War. Well, look, war's happening, isn't it? Because everyone's saying, well, now we can fly, we'll go over there.
So there were no wars prior to the invention of the aeroplane?
Not like there is today.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, the world's got smaller on it, everyone's saying that, right? Yeah. You know, the way I was saying to you the other day, you know, we now go to places where we shouldn't go. People go on holiday to places where you've got to have an injection before you go there.
Yeah.
Forget it then. That's a warning. Don't go there.
I'm with you on that. I don't want to enter a country where I have to have an injection to stop me from dying while I'm in that country. Right, I totally agree with you on that.
So what happened is, so they invented the plane and it's like, oh, let's go on holiday. And then they go, oh, we die now. Oh, well, you've got to invent something. Let's invent an injection. And then it's like, right, well, what else do we need to go to that place? There's a lot of faffing. So what I'm saying is, is
that a place? A lot of faffing.
What I'm saying is, you know, Steve's travelled more than I have. You've been to like dangerous places.
I've been to places where you need injections. Yeah.
Yeah, but why?
Because it's fascinating, isn't it? You know, don't you not believe in that idea of travel broadens the mind? You know, it makes you experience other ways of life, other ways of thinking. It just enriches you as a human being. That's the whole reason people go travelling.
But since the invention of the telly, you don't have to go that far to see it.
You're absolutely right.
So there you go then. The telly was the 20th century, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So where would you stop then? You'd stop making stuff now? Stop inventing stuff right now? Or do you think we could carry on for another 5 years, see what comes up, and then just draw a line under it all?
Well, again, we're just messing about, and
there's still things to do, isn't there? I mean, I know I could throw things up. You can always go art to it, but you know, a cure for cancer, a cure for AIDS.
Yeah, but should we mess with that?
What do you mean?
Because there's too many people in the world as it is, isn't there? So that's a way of controlling it, so that, you know, like look at London, right? It's overpopulated. Rent keeps going up because there's more and more people surviving, right? you let them die, it's going to even itself out. See, I was saying to someone the other day about maybe we should look at, if we're going to invent something, right, forget like the traditional way of people having kids, right, the way they, you know, have it away in that. You know,
What do you mean? What do you mean?
No, you know, like the way that, you know, we have kids and stuff. If it'd be good if what happened was to control it is if man and woman, right, they're born and that, they enjoy their life, they learn a lot, they live to be about 78, I think, by that point.
So specific.
Yeah,
but by 78, I reckon you've sort of got to that point where you go, do you know what, I've done everything I'm going to do. If you haven't bungee jumped by the time you're 78, you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like...
Your hips have come off.
You've done it all now, so I've had my innings.
Yeah.
And then you die, right? So, say if everyone had that, they live to be 78. But then, just as you die...
They give you the bumps.
You have a little baby inside you, and as you die, your life carries on.
Sorry,
how is this happening?
Sorry, are you mental?
No, but don't you think...
I mean, what? I've never heard such drivel.
You're saying that, but if Newton said it, you'd go, interesting. That's what annoys me.
The point is, Carl, he never would.
No,
He'd never say it, that's the point.
If you never say it,
I don't understand what you're talking about there. How was it? How is there a little baby in a 78-year-old?
No, what I'm saying is it's like an apple, where the apple grows and it's got its little baby pips in it, and the apple goes and the seeds are planted and a new one's born.
But that's what happens.
But that is what reproduction is.
Yeah, but I'm saying babies aren't being born left, right and centre. It's controlled, so that as someone dies, someone's born.
But Carl, stop. Whose responsibility is this?
If you don't want to do it, we won't do it. But
is it supposed to be nature? Has nature got to develop humans so that we act that way? We live that way? Or is this a scientific experiment?
He said to you then, he said, look, if you don't want to do it, we don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you were up for it, we'll sort it out. Yeah. We can do that.
We'll have a whip round, so we can do the research.
I just think, at the end of the day, we've got to do something. And is anyone keeping an eye on this and looking at what we can do next to control the population thing? It does my head in that I've got to live in London for work and what have you, and there's loads of people here, and, you know, forget going out on a Saturday night, it's too busy. And you can't move, and they keep... I mean, what annoys me about London
So
is...
your solution is that 78-year-old women have little babies inside them, and as they slip away into death, the little babies... And how is that baby then raised? Who looks after the baby?
Because it's a pretty good system, having a baby while you're young enough to look after that baby and make sure it lives to, you know, reproductive age itself.
I mean, that system's been working for years.
Nature's sort of sorted it out. Natural selection and evolution sort of makes that a good model.
But what idea?
Yeah.
That's what it was, just an idea.
Yeah, well, it was nonsense. But thank you for it.
The worst I mean, it was the ramblings of someone you'd find by themselves in a hospital eating flies.
Yeah. This is the sort of thing you find when, if they find maybe a pamphlet or a booklet written by a psychopath. You know, someone, just before they went on a rampage and then turned the gun on themselves, they go through their possessions and they find a book and it's got weird drawings, women with knives in their face, and this kind of garbage.
In fact, I saw a similar sort of theory written out on a wall, but it was written in shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is, I think it's, you know, when people die normally, everyone's fed up about it, aren't they, and a bit down. But if when you pass away, you go, oh, we're going to miss Gladys or whatever, but then there's this new life brought in, it's almost like a bad news, good
but
news.
you're talking about it like someone could pick this idea up and run with it. Like you've given them enough information to do it. How is this possible? Where does she get the baby from? Why does it grow? Why grow it in Gladys's belly? Why not have it in a drawer?
But what I'm saying
ready to go, just add water. I mean...
Who looks after son of Gladys?
There is no theory here. It's the ramblings of a madman.
What I'm saying is, though, the body's always changing, innit? From caveman to now, or whatever.
In some cases.
And they're always finding out more and more. Like I read the other day about how they're saying, do you know, like they say, people have 6 senses.
Yeah.
There's loads more than that. Right, and there's this one.
I say, show me that you've got one.
No, right, and there's this one that's knocking about.
Go on.
That what it is. Say if I'm in a pub, right, and I'm just doing a crossword or whatever.
Unlikely, but go on.
And there's some woman who's walked in, right, and she's staring at me.
Yeah.
I know she's looking at me, and I look up and I look round, she's looking at me.
Right.
And they're saying that's a new sense that they found out from, like, you know, doing tests and what have you.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
And they're saying that's been around since like man and dinosaur was knocking about.
But it could be, you know, peripheral vision. It could be a footstep stopped, and usually when someone's footsteps stop, they've stopped.
No, they've explained
I think it's safe to assume that, you know, that with your perfectly round head, people are always stopping and looking.
No, but they explained it.
You just know that there's probably going to be someone there if you look right.
They said it's from the time when, like, caveman was, like, wandering about, and he'd go, hang on a minute, and he'd look round, there's a dinosaur there, or whatever, and he'd leg it.
This is nonsense. I hate it when people use the term when caveman was wandering round. Caveman and dinosaurs, oh, they used to live together, yeah. Oh, that's the same era. Yeah. What have you been watching? Raquel Welch?
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean caveman wandering, knocking around with a dinosaur?
You know the Flintstones is only partly based on fact. Dinosaurs and man did not coexist. The dinosaurs had long gone before man arrived. Extinct. Kaput. You don't believe us?
Well, you don't believe it because you've seen...
Because you saw that film where they took pictures of lizards and magnified them and put them next to men in films so they looked like they were fighting.
Yeah.
No, but why couldn't that have happened?
What is the film with Raquel Welch? A Million Years BC.
A Million Years BC or something.
A Million Years BC. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but...
She had a sort of woolly mammoth bikini. Fact.
But why wasn't the dinosaurs back then just like how we have dogs now, in a way?
He's watching the Flintstones. He's thinking of the Flintstones.
Yeah.
That's what he's
thinking.
When he
puts out the saber-toothed tiger.
Yeah,
and then Dido
and he mixes his concrete in a pelican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that there must have been a crossover point.
Why? Why did you say that? Why do you think there must have been a crossover point?
Because if nothing was knocking about at any point, how did anything carry on?
I know. Exactly. Why didn't Hitler meet Nero? It's weird, isn't it? There must have been a crossover. They must have met somewhere. They must have met at a party somewhere.
They mixed in similar circles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, are you telling me that Ken Dodd has never met Genghis Khan? They must have bumped into... I can't believe it.
Oh, forget it.
Oh.
You're listening to Ricky Gervais with Stephen Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Coming up after the ads, Monkey News.
What ads?
No ads, no?
No, we're not. There's nothing here. There's no records. We just got to keep on talking.
Okay.
Which is not.
We could do our own ads.
Okay.
Bring tea for the Tillerman, steak for the sun. Out now to own on DVD. Ricky Gervais's and Steve Merchant's award-winning extras. With Ross Kemp. Oh, zippy. With Les Dennis. Put your arse away, Les. I don't really know. And Kate Winslet. Oh, this nun outfit makes me talk dirty. Out now on DVD. Extras.
Did you like Flannelwalls? The Ricky Gervais book for kids with pictures of made-up creatures in of different colours? Well, if you did, there's more of them now in the new book, more Flannelwalls, which is also by Ricky Gervais, drawings by his mate. Out now.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
You're listening to Ricky Gervais with Steve Merchant and Carl Pilkington. Well, now time for one of our regular features. Monkey News.
Do the jingle.
Oh, chimpanzee that Monkey News.
Right, what we're doing here is just giving you a bit of monkey news that's gone on, right, where a monkey's been involved in it. Good little story in that.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the one that went into space? The first sort of thing they ever sent up there before man did it and all that. You see, this is what annoys me with it really. Armstrong gets all the glory, but do you know who went up there before him?
A monkey.
Yeah.
Dog went up first.
But what was the monkey called?
I don't know.
No, sure, okay. So it's not the most informed news bulletin.
The dog was called Laika.
Was it?
Yeah, they couldn't get it back there. They sent it up there, did a few tests and stuff, and they couldn't get it back. They weren't prepared to bring the capsule back yet. Brilliant. We could all do that.
So is that a good mission?
Well, I just think it was seeing what if the mission itself killed it, but they didn't have the technology, because of course it couldn't fly the capsule back, which it has to be manned to bring it.
Right. Well, this was the next one up then, right? So the dog must have gone first, and then they went, right, we made an error there, right? Get the monkey in, and what happened is they taught it what buttons to hit at the time it needed to hit them, and the way they did this was like give it bananas. It was like hit the red button, and it hit the red button, they'd give it a banana.
Right.
And they go, right, reverse is the green one, hit the green one. and then they do that and go, there's a banana, and then they go, right, hit reverse, and it go, and get a banana. Hit the red, so it was taking commands on our headphones.
Right, but how are they giving it the banana?
Is that how you learned to do radio?
How are they giving it the banana?
What do you mean? No, this is before it went. You wouldn't just go and put a monkey in it and go, there you go, get on with it. They'd sort of put him in one of them capsules that you get.
Yeah.
And they were on headphones.
I don't believe this happened.
Well, I'm telling you the story now. So the monkey
I don't think they trained it to do anything. I think they sent it up there and he put electrodes coming out of it to see what
it wasn't any of that. They did a thing like they do. Like they can with animals. If you give something, you know, like a treat, you can teach it how to do it. It's just like a dog, isn't it?
It's called Pavlovian conditioning. However, that was to see if it would salivate or go over to a particular corner, not if it could control a spacecraft.
Next one up. It's the next one up. As far as the monkey's not sat there going, oh, I'm a bit under pressure here, it's a rocket. All that's knowing is, I'm getting a banana if I hit that button. That's all the monkey's thinking about. Right?
They wouldn't put millions of space dollars.
How can they be sure that it's going to press the button at the right moment?
Because it's got headphones on. They're telling it. It's not
like
just,
you have now.
It's not like willy-nilly. It's not just like pop it in there and see.
But what's to stop it from just hitting it any old time? Because it's a monkey and it's not a human.
Because it's trained now.
But anyway, it's trained. It's fully trained. Yeah.
So what happened is anyway.
Oh, this is absolute rubbish.
They pop the monkey in there.
Yeah.
He's got his headphones on. They're going right. Hit the green one, and I think there's something there that a little banana comes out to keep the same.
No, you're making this up.
I'm not. It's the same.
There's no way that they made a spacecraft that had a banana dispenser.
Right,
There's no way in this world that they made a spacecraft that could go into outer space, right? Manned by a monkey with a banana dispenser.
So you're saying that it's easy to send something up to space, but you don't believe there's a little banana machine?
Right, okay, so in your world, there's a monkey and it's been conditioned and there's a little monkey dispenser, monkey dispenser or a banana dispenser?
Right, so it comes to the launch day, monkeys sat in there, everyone's ready, bananas are stocked up and all the rest of it. They go, right, hit the green button. Right, and the rocket goes off and what have you.
No, they would not make the monkey launch the rocket. Carl, you are living in a cartoon world.
So the rocket goes off, right?
This is absolute bollocks.
It's all going well.
I don't know what you're going to... It's not going well. There's no way a monkey launched a rocket. There's no way a monkey launched a rocket, you idiot.
It's all going on, so they're going, hit the left button, and it goes a little bit left.
Left button! Right, well-known spacecraft command. This is Houston, hit the left button. Oh, brilliant. This is what happened in Apollo 13. Hit the left button.
So it goes left. Yeah, it goes left.
So it goes left, and it's going away.
Left! It goes left!
Yeah.
No, the moon! You're going right!
It goes for the moon, everything's going well.
Right.
They get up there, it does whatever it does. Hit reverse, it comes back. Right? So then...
honestly, you are brain dead.
So
you are one of the most stupid people that I would rather have the monkey drive me home than you.
So the thing is, so it lands back, it does a good job and everything, it gets out, and this is
bananas.
This is where it turns a bit sad, because after it done that mission, right, because it happened and it was all safe and everything, the next one would have been to send man.
Right.
So the monkey enjoyed it and it was like, well, I want to do it again, right? But they were like...
So how did they know that? How did they know he wanted to...
Just the way it looked and what have you, it was like...
Fuck off! Just the way it looked! So, you are a maniac.
So the thing is though, right, so after it had done that, it was on such a high, right, it could never get that high again. There was nothing that it could do.
Went on tour, did it?
It sort of ended up killing itself. Because it could never get that buzz that it got.
Right, that was absolute bollocks. None of that is true, except they sent a monkey into space, and I'll check that. Absolute drivel.
So, in your mind, it committed suicide. It went on a crazy bender, drinking drugs and women. And
like
then
it does happen. You hear about it.
It was found in a motel room.
Right, do you know, like, you don't believe in, like, scary stuff? Just like, you know, ghosts.
No, I believe in scary stuff. I don't believe in things that are totally illogical. Yeah, ghosts.
Vampires?
No. Anything made up by man.
Well,
anything.
There was something in the paper the other day about a vampire. They found one. They dug something up.
It was in the paper.
And,
it's true then.
It's definitely true.
But we'll leave that. But we'll leave that because you're just going to do that, so it doesn't matter.
No, come on.
Come on, quickly tell us.
No, it's just that they found a body in a coffin with a bit of wood through its heart and a knife in its mouth. But if you don't believe it,
it was
then
a
what's the
vampire
point?
pirate. It was a vampire pirate.
But that's definitely proof of a vampire then, and of course, and not some grotesque murder. Yeah. That's definitely proof of a vampire.
If it wasn't made up.
Hang on a minute.
As far as I'm aware, when you put the thing through their heart, they just turn into dust.
And also, all their victims get their own life back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the
right,
truth.
and here was the second bit.
Yeah.
Somebody had dug it up, got the heart, blended it, burnt it, popped it in some water, drank it, and they're in prison now. Now, if it wasn't dodgy stuff, why are they in prison?
Because they're mental, because they dug up a body, liquidised its heart, burnt it and drank it. That's why they're in prison.
There's your answer.
Right. But anyway, that isn't what I'm talking about, right? But I met right?
Now, who's he? Which one's he? Is he a medium? He can contact the dead, is that right?
He just chats to him and that, passes messages on.
Nice of him.
So I said, tell us something a bit weird and that. So he said, what do you want to know? I said, just something weird. So he goes, alright then. He said, here's one for you, right? And he said, there's this pub out in the country. And he said, there's this mug. Do you know those old mugs that they have? Where they used to like leave their own cup knocking about, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Tankard thing.
Yeah.
So there was one of them mugs in there, right? And everybody...
Tankard, let's use tankard if we've established that.
Tankard, yeah.
Because you're the only mug in this story.
Right.
Believe in it all.
High five. Great.
So this tankard's knocking about, right? And everyone who's running the pub keeps going, I wish they'd stop leaving this tankard about, right? And they pick it up.
It must be a pain. Having a tiny, small tankard in a pub, that must be a real grind.
So every they sort of picked it up and went, we'll have to wash that, and they popped it on a different sideboard. Next thing you know, that person who's touched it died, right?
Sure.
So
they must have been getting through bar staff.
So they kept getting new staff and that. And they were like, what's the connection here? Right?
What's the connection here?
Oh, God. So anyway,
call Australia. We've run out.
So they sort of someone notices and they go, it's a bit weird. It's that cup, right? So they get
tankard.
So it's that tankard and that. So they get a vicar in.
Of course they do.
And they go, look, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here. This tankard, every time someone touches it, they die. So he said, leave it with me. He gets his special water out and what have you. He comes round, does a little prayer, sprinkles it. He goes, right, not a problem, don't worry about it. He picks it up, chucks it in the bin. Guess what?
What?
Dies in a crash on the way home. Because he picked it up.
Well, but Carl, you're telling me this like it's fact, and I'm meant to go, that's amazing.
Cora, he told me.
It's Carl. I have no opinion of that story, other than I'm pretty sure there was absolutely no connection between touching the tankard and him dying. That's all I'm sure.
It's not just him though, is it?
I'm not going to even contest the chain of events. All I'm saying is there is no connection. There is no connection possible because I believe in logic and the laws of the universe. So when you're telling me miracles and strange things outside coincidence, you may as well be telling me about the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny, because they're equal to me. That it's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous.
So what would it take though for you to go, I'm actually a believer now?
But what you're saying is you're I can't answer that question because I'd have to base my beliefs on some of your premises, which I can't do. It's like you saying, but what if you found out that 2 and 2 equaled 5? I can't. It's a necessary truth that it doesn't. I'd have to go back and fundamentally disagree with what I think twoism is, two-ness and fiveness.
And you've never been in a situation though where you've gone, this room feels a bit weird. Could be something, do you know what I mean? Could be something knocking about. Or...
But that's a different question. I could go into a really rough-looking pub and think, this isn't good, because it's based on induction then. Because
I mean, like, you know, if you've been to Cornwall on holiday and stayed somewhere and you've gone, do you know what? I'm sure so much died in here.
I'm sure so much died everywhere.
Yeah, but what I mean, you never pick up a vibe of. I've got a mate, right, who is living in this big stately home, right, and what it is.
Why is he living there?
He's paying £100 a month, right. and it's almost like he's being a security man.
All right.
But he's not. He doesn't sit out the door with that on and everything. He just goes about his life, but he bases most of his work in this stately home.
So what is it, like a
housekeeper, like he's sort of house sitting?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's massive. It's bigger than Buckingham Palace, this place, right?
So what is it, a billionaire that's gone away or something?
I think it's some sort of, I think he said something about a viscount or something, right? He said he owns this place. He's living in America. This place he owns, but it's falling to bits.
Wow.
And he's worried that people are going to go in there and squat and what have you. So he said to me, mate, you know, there was an advert in the paper, he doesn't know, an advert in the paper saying, do you want to live in a big house, 100 quid or whatever? And he went and had a look, right, and he's living in there now. He pays £100 a month. There's about 80 rooms.
Gee.
And it's this big stately house and what have you. And I went down there, he said, oh, come down and have a look, right? And from outside you go, oh, this is brilliant, it's like something out of, you know, like the Man of Born or something. You go, this is impressive. But then when you get in, it's like, it's a wreck.
It's just falling apart because they can't afford...
Well, it's just been left. No one's doing any vacuuming up or anything. There's like rat poison everywhere. Like windows are smashed, doors kicked in.
That's a real shame. Why is it? Is it?
I don't think he's doing his job, is he?
Is it because it would cost like millions to do up or
well,
something?
Apparently it'd be like, I think they're going to have it done up, but it's going to cost like 80 million, right? So anyway,
that's a big house.
That's a big house.
So we go to the pub and what have you. I've got like a little torch, and we're wandering around looking in all these different rooms, right? And I'm asking him how's it got in this state? Do you know what I mean? If someone's had it, why have they let it get to this state? And he was saying how, you know, it was like a mental home at one point, and it was like a drug thing as well. People who had problems with drugs, they popped them out there because it's in the middle of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? If you needed drugs or anything, forget it. It's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? So that's straight away. Do you know, like, have you ever been in a hospital when it's been shut down, or a school when there's no kids in it, and there's that sort of bad atmosphere of like weirdness?
Yeah.
Right?
For the sake of argument, yeah.
So we're wandering about, and I say, oh yeah, what's in this room, right? And we go in, and all the floors are like a wreck and rotten and stuff. And I looked at the wall, and there was like a little piece of paper stuck on the wall, right? And I said, what's this here? So I wandered over, right? Got right up close to it, and somebody had roted.
Somebody had roted?
Oh.
Somebody had roted.
Imagine doing Jack and Ori. Right, okay. Right, go on, sorry.
So there's a little sign there, right? And I go up to it, and it says flies, right, with an arrow. Flies, like flies this way, right? I think that's a bit weird. So I follow the arrow, right, which goes to this corner where there's a shelf, about 3,000 dead flies on it.
Oh my god.
Condom stuck on the top. That's weird, isn't it?
That is weird.
That is weird. Right? So I'm looking at that, and there's loads of stuff on the floor and that, bits of paper. Picked up this bit of paper, right, and it had like in biro and that. It looked really old, like it'd been there years, and it had something like need nappies, dummy, right, blankets, like all this, like old stuff for like. And I turned it over, right, and it said, none of this now needed, baby dead.
Right.
Now that's weird, isn't it? Now that's what I'm talking about when you get a bad vibe, you go, that's who's been in here.
So I don't actually understand what point you're trying to make, Carl.
Just because who's written that, who's been in that room, who's been in that state, and then straight away your mind starts going, oh, I'm getting bad vibes in here.
But Carl, didn't you just tell us that this was once occupied by drug addicts and mentals, to use your word?
Yeah.
So haven't you put two and two together and thought that was probably a rotate? That doesn't mean it's paranormal or ghostly. You walk into a building, it's a big, terrifying, empty house. It's terrifying in as much as it's cold and dark and drafty and a little bit spooky in this sort of illustrative sense.
And insecure.
Yeah, you're a bit nervous because it's got this sort of, its bad vibe. It's just based on the fact that
your mate's in charge.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I mean, yeah, so it's like saying, are we scared of the dark? Yes, I understand why people are scared of the dark. I'm a little bit scared of the dark. You're walking along.
Because you don't know what's in it.
Yeah, you don't know what's in the darkness. That's why people get nervous. It doesn't mean you have to make the leap then that you've got some paranormal sense. Oh my God, I'm Carl Pilkington, and hang on, just like Derek Acora, I have sensed something strange and evil in this room. Wait a minute, there's some flies in a condom. I was right all along.
That is weird.
Flies in a Johnny equals badness.
the flies in the condom was weird.
It's weird. I don't know.
But the note. Yeah. I just think of his face when he saw that, reading it by torchlight. He must have been terrified.
It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Thank you very much indeed for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us, either myself or Ricky, or you've got something to send to Carl, then you can email us at podcast@rickygervais.com.
I'd just like to say thank you to both The Guardian for sponsoring this and Positive Internet for hosting this podcast. Both great. The guys at Positive Internet know exactly what they're doing. They're my kind of people, as is The Guardian.
You weren't contractually obliged to say that, were you? It just sounded...
No, it's what I think. Just what I think.
Right. It's just I've not heard you mention either of them before in that way. It just sounded...
Oh, you're joking. I both love The Guardian and Positive Internet. Great guys.
Okay, that's just the way you feel, it's not...
Yeah.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited. The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hello, welcome to another podcast of The Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, hello, alright, and of course, Carl Pilkington.
Right. Rick, you'll be pleased to know we've already had some responses. You remember last week I mentioned that you can email us on podcast@rickygervais.com if you've got anything for Carl or you or I. And Simon and Mark have already emailed us in this link to something that was on the BBC News website. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's a remarkable story. Well, I'll give you the headline straight away, and you can draw your own conclusion. Lion mutilates 42 midgets in Cambodian ring fight. That's just the headline.
That's a hell of a headline. That makes me want to know more about the story.
Well, that's what
a headline should do.
I mean, I think we'd all read the news. We'd all take more interest in the news if they could open the BBC News at 6 o'clock every night. Bong. Lion mutilates 42 midgets in Cambodian ring fight. Bong. We'd definitely pay more attention. So this is the story. It's just extraordinary. Spectators cheered as entire Cambodian midget fighting league squared off against African lion.
Now, I didn't even know there was a Cambodian midget fighting league.
You're an ignoramus. Everyone, of course, has heard of the CMFL, which is genuinely what it's known as in Cambodia. Now, like you, I don't know who the Cambodian midget fighting league are normally fighting. I don't know what tournaments...
I assume it's each other.
Well, I assume each other.
It's midget fighting then?
Yeah, well, let me just give you more information and then we can dissect it afterwards. Tickets had been sold out 3 weeks before the much-anticipated fight. The fight was organised when an angry fan contested Yang Shamoni, president of the CMFL, claiming that one lion could defeat his entire league of 42 fighters.
So this bloke is going to the president and going, I reckon a lion could get all your midgets.
I reckon he could destroy all of your 42 midget fighters. Now, apparently, Shamoni, the president of the CMFL, he takes great pride in the league, and he's conveyed in a recent advertising campaign that his midgets will take on anything, man, beast, or machine. Now, I don't know what kind of machine, again, midgets are fighting.
But don't the midgets have a say in this?
A washing machine.
Don't the midgets going, alright, keep it down. No, they will fight anything. Well, we won't fight anything. We'll fight each other. We're sort of like equally matched.
No, you'll fight a beast or a machine.
No. I'll fight another midget. I will fight any midget. Is what. When I said I'll take on anything, I meant another midget. A lion could take on your midgets. He goes rubbish.
Yes. And that is why an African lion was shipped in especially for the event, which took place a couple of Saturdays ago, in the city's Colosseum. I mean, they've got a Colosseum, Rick, which is already brilliant.
So hold on, this is sanctioned by the city?
Well, the Cambodian government allowed the fight to take place under the condition that they receive a 50% commission on each ticket sold, and that no cameras would be allowed in the arena. We'll take 50%, but for dignity's sake, there's no cameras. We don't want to make this into a
spectacle.
Yeah.
No. It's just lion versus midget, but
exactly. Well, 42. Never forget, there was 42 midgets. Now, this is the tragedy element, and this is why we shouldn't be laughing, because the fight was ended.
Don't tell me the lion gets hurt.
Well, the fight was ended, Rick, after only 12 minutes, after which 28 of the midget fighters were declared dead,
Right.
while the other 14 suffered severe injuries, including broken bones, lost limbs, and they were basically unable to fight.
But the
again.
lion wasn't hurt.
It would have seemed that the lion was okay.
Oh, good. Because the lion had no choice in this.
No.
See, that's I love it when a human takes on a beast and comes unstuck. Because that lion was scared and defending itself. Those little midgets were loving it. They wanted to go in.
What do you mean they were loving it? You don't know that.
Well, why would they do it?
Well, what I find out... Well, I worried, you see. I don't know the ins and outs of this. I wonder if they were fighting against their will. I got the horrible feeling, because with all due respect to any midgets listening, they must be fairly easy to round up. You could probably corral some midgets fairly easily. You know, you only need some regular full-size people, and it'd be easy to grab some midgets and take them away, whisk them away, put them in a cage.
No, because because they don't. Because a lot of them stand on each other's shoulders and wear a long coat.
Sure,
and a hat, and you go, oh, that's not a midget.
No,
Let him go.
Well, those ones are getting away with it. They're fine. They're wandering around, you know, fine. Because who's voluntarily going to join the Cambodian Midget Fighting League?
But midgets who want a bit of action, who want to fight other midgets, they're allowed. They want to fight. They can't get in real boxing matches because the fellas are too big for them. But they can go, well, I'll tell you what, let's have our own little fighting league, right?
But if I was on the Cambodian Midget Fighting League, I'd be livid. I'd be thinking to myself, well, I can't believe I listened to my agent and he's put me up fighting a lion. I mean, I should have just taken Panto in Grimsby. I can't believe that
I can't believe it. But hold on, though.
I thought
are they all really midgets, or are they lumping in dwarves with them?
It's not specified, Rick, but
But that annoys me when people say, oh, look at these midgets, and I go, hold on, no, they're making up the numbers with a couple of dwarfs there. That's clearly only 39 midgets and 3 dwarfs.
Sure.
Well, that's amazing.
Carl, what are your thoughts instantly? I mean, you're bound to have a take on that.
Whose side am I meant to be on there?
What?
Well,
I'd be on the lion side. I'd never go to a bullfight, but I love it when I see a matador gored to death. Because, again, the bull doesn't want to get in that ring and fight a bloke with swords, okay? So I love it. I think it's disgusting. And when someone says a midget versus lion, I'm thinking, well, it's okay if the lion wins, to be honest, because they haven't got a choice. So, and I hate it when people go, oh, I went to a bullfight when I was in Spain, but it's the tradition, isn't it? Oh, well, there's loads of traditions that we don't adhere to anymore. So I say it shouldn't have happened, of course, but if it happens, I'm glad the lion isn't hurt.
See, what's annoying me is I've sent money to Cambodia because apparently they're hungry and haven't got any energy. So what's going on?
Well, it's much easier to fill up a midget than it is a regular Cambodian. You know, they're
I just
happy
feel
on
like
a Mars
I'm
bar.
being cheated a bit.
You were conned before with a charity, weren't you?
Well, a few times, yeah.
What about the old lady? What was that?
I got stopped, and it's like they sort of drag you in by saying, "Have you got a gran?" And I said, "No, they died." And that it's like, "Oh, did they die of the cold?" "No, she's, ill. What have you? Just old age." He said, "Well, what happens with a lot of people's grans is they die in the cold, right?" So I was like, "Oh, that's bad, isn't it?" Anyway, so she's chatting and she's showing me pictures of these old women who look cold, right? Saying, "Look at her, that's Edna. She's got no family. She can't pay the bills and all that."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Oh yeah." Anyway, it goes on for about 15 minutes, and you feel bad. You give them your bank details, right? And what happens is every couple of months you get a letter from Edna. Well, it's not from her; it's typed up and what have you. But there's a picture of Edna, right? And it's saying, "Oh, this December, Edna's going to be extra cold. It's cold outside. She can't afford to pay the heat and what have you."
Yeah.
Keep going, right? So you keep paying every month like £5, whatever. Get another letter a few months later, right? Edna's sat there. She's got a tan.
What do you mean she's got a tan?
Well, when they said, she's cold, I thought they meant for the heating, not to send her on holiday for a month. She sat there with a tan. I'm not joking.
Are you sure it wasn't just a slight problem in the printing?
No, definitely.
Sure, it wasn't
well happy.
Sure, it wasn't liver failure.
This is a terrible thing to say, but when I see those people approaching now with the clipboards on the street, I always get my mobile phone out and pretend to have a conversation.
I've done that one.
The number of fake conversations I've had walking past them now.
Well, I felt sorry for them, right? Because I thought, to be fair, I've got about 10 standing orders where I felt sorry from a court. Right, I thought they're doing a good deed. The least I can do. I find out they're on about £8 an hour.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're not just doing it out of the kindness of their heart.
Well, I don't want to.
I thought they were volunteers. I thought that was at least why I should feel guilty. If they're getting paid to do it.
I don't know. I could be wrong.
I think they do.
What?
I've heard they get paid and that.
Well, if someone knows, maybe email us.
Podcast@rickygervais.com is how you can get in touch with us. If you know if these guys are getting fleecing us twice.
I heard something. Carl thinks they are. You think they're not?
I don't know anything, but anything that will allow me.
But
to
let's
not feel
find
guilty.
out, because I don't want to slag them off, because they're obviously doing a good thing. So we find this out. It's, this is an educational show.
I tell you what, though, right? Because we've talked about homeless people before and that, and I walked past one the other day. He's always cheerful, right? But don't you think, right? If you had a company, it's worth taking them on, because they never have a lie-in.
Brilliant.
I'm finding it quite exhausting now, because a lot of the homeless I've encountered recently, they're not even after my money. They're just looking for conversation. While I was walking along the other day, and I don't know what you're supposed to say to this, we were both walking, happened to be both passing a Chinese restaurant. He glanced in, he looked back around at me, he went, woman in there with 3 phones, 3 mobile phones, why does she need 3 mobile phones? Got nothing to say to that, got no opinion. Got absolutely no opinion of it. And I was thinking, what's going to, and you know that thing when you sort of suddenly you got across the road conveniently to just get out of it. But and there was another mad woman who started going. She was walking past me. She went, "Do you want to come to my church?" I went, "No, I don't believe in God." She went, "Do you believe in God?" Oh, 20 minutes conversation, 20 minutes. It was unbelievable. I got to a point where I was so angry with her, I was shouting out from across the other side of the room. I was the one who sounded like a nutter, going, "There isn't a God." But
you see, when does it become like bad to avoid people like that? Do you know what I mean? Because some people say you shouldn't, that they're people like us who've just had a bit of bad luck.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah, I know, but I remember one on our estate, right? And she was a bit, what's the word that you can use? Because I don't want to offend anyone. But I'd say, but sort of mental homeless. Is that a term?
That's the official term.
I think that is the
new official term. It's mental homeless-itis.
Right, so she lived on the estate and what have you, and she aged.
How was she homeless if she lived on the estate?
Well, she sort of decided to stay around there because I think people on the estate spoke to her more than people who had money. Do you know what I mean?
Really? I was going to say, why would she choose an estate to not to live in, as opposed to a walled sort of lovely community?
Yeah.
Why not go to St John's Wood or?
Yeah, or I'd hang around in maybe, say, the Maze in Hampton Court.
Exactly.
No one's expecting to see a homeless person as they're trying to find their way around. Well, imagine the cash you'd make during the summer.
The rich sort of Victorians used to keep sort of homeless in there as a little folly, and they used to pay them at the end if they stayed there for like 3 years.
What do you mean? Would they pay?
It was fashionable to have a little homeless little hobbit in your outhouse. Seriously.
And what did they have? Did they have to do anything for the money? Run, dance,
no, they just had to
tigers?
be there. No, they had to be there when they brought around. They go, look, that's our little cat weasel fella living in our folly.
Yeah.
And then they got money, at the end of it. There's just like really rich sort of Victorians and stuff.
That's a great idea. They should definitely bring that back. Because you see, I would give a lot more to shelter and those kind of charities if I could have a homeless guy and do my bidding. I could make him dance.
And they had a really long beard and rags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I could just make them do dances for me, or
And he was somewhat magical, possibly.
He won't
riddle me dee, fiddle me do. What is my name and who are you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then
But anyway, so this mental
there's a little idea for shelter if anyone's listening.
Yeah. Mental homeless woman on the estate, and what she used to do. Right, she acted quite normal, and she used to always push like a pram around with her, right? Everyone was like, she can't have a kid, can she? Right? And she was dead happy every day. She was up and down, walking up and down the road. Anyway, one day she sort of walked past, right? Turned round and looked in the pram. There's a bucket with a face on it.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Rick, we've had an email here from a bloke. I think you're going to respect him, because I think you can tell straight away from his name that he's the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with.
Go on.
I know how much you love fun people.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, and he's calling himself this, Paul the Party Animal Parker. He's emailed in. He's given himself that moniker.
Right, I assume they're in sort of like quote marks,
they're
are they?
in speech marks, yeah. Paul
Brilliant.
Party Animal Parker.
And he's calling himself that.
Yeah.
That I can't wait.
So when you picture him, what are you thinking?
Millhouse.
Right, okay.
I think he looks like Millhouse from The Simpsons.
Yeah. He's working in sort of an IT department, maybe?
Yeah,
for a large
possibly.
organisation?
I think he might still be at school.
Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
And this is the vital question. Do you believe him to be a party animal?
I believe him to be a party animal is as much as a man with a long scarf that his mum knitted him to look like Doctor Who can be a party animal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think that when people are organising parties at his school, they're thinking the first person they got to get on the list and make sure he's guaranteed?
You've got to take Paul the party animal,
Paul Parker.
because I bet he's got millions of affectations. I bet he wants to be known as the one that carries around a biscuit tin.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the scarf.
He's the guy who only ever wears bowling shoes. It's his thing. It's his thing. He's a little bit kooky. It's his thing. But thank you very much indeed for your contribution. And it is fairly interesting what he sent in. He's found this on the web. I don't know why he's felt an affinity with this particular inventor. But anyway, there's a Serbian man, who has invented a sex machine for women, and he's appealing to Western women to test his device. He's from a town in, as I say, in Serbia. I guess Serbia? I guess that's right. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. What does it say?
Well, it says a Serbian man, but is it called Serbia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was all the Croatia-Serbia thing?
Well, it doesn't matter now, does it?
Okay. It doesn't matter now. It does to them. Otherwise they fought for nothing. What the hell do we know about world events? I mean, how long did that go on for? Months,
I don't know.
wasn't it?
If they're inventing new countries, they can't expect me to keep up with current trends, can we?
Anyway, this Serbian man has invented a sex machine for women, and he can't find any Serbian women to try it out, so he's looking now for Western women. He's taken out a patent on the ultimate sex machine. It runs on a 390-volt electric engine, simulates sex, and has a 7.5-inch artificial penis. He said, "My sex machine has an artificial penis that can make up to 180 moves in a minute." Now, I don't even know what that means. 180 moves? What? I mean, there's only really...
Well, in and out, I
in and
imagine.
out. It's largely the function. Unless I've been doing it
what
wrong.
he's
All
done.
these months.
What he's done is he's put a dildo on a Black & Decker.
A man can only manage the intensity of movement for about 5 seconds normally, but this machine can do it for as long as the woman wants. But anyway, so he's looking for a woman who will test this out. But what I love, as soon as I read this, I was thinking... It's just imagine him there going, "Oh, thanks for coming in. Yeah, okay." So there's what's going to happen is there's a penis that's going to pop out from here, and it's going to have sex with you. I'm going to stand behind the machine. I've got to stand behind here. There's a lot of dials and stuff. I don't want to bore you with.
Well, why do you have to stand behind it? Just
I can't. It's technical stuff, but I got to be behind the machine.
But there's no penis on the robot at the moment. It's just a hole.
No, don't worry. What'll happen is I'll switch the machine on. I'll go behind, and then a penis will appear.
Will it be like a metal-looking penis?
It will be a robotic penis, but it will seem like it's a regular fleshy human penis.
So you're gonna So you're gonna go behind this robot.
Go behind the machine.
This penis is
That
gonna
will appear
through the hole
when I switch the machine on.
Okay, and that'll be the real robotic penis.
But you won't see me for the duration of your sexual.
So
contact.
you've made this sort of robotic penis look really realistic.
It's really realistic. You will not be able to tell the difference between, say, the robot one and mine, for instance.
Okay, well, I don't want to see yours.
No, there's absolutely not.
Because I've not come around here to have sex with a person.
I know, you've come around to test the machine.
Yeah,
and that is exactly what you're going to get.
Okay,
A piece of mechanical action. But what I know is the idea that on the front, maybe he's painted a picture of a robot's face.
Yeah.
And then when the machine begins, rather like in one of those horror houses, like a kind of mansion in a spooky film, the eyes of the painting, they'll move. And the real eyes will appear, just staring out. But I don't think I can have sex with this machine unless you're actually in the room, just in case anything goes wrong.
No.
Don't worry, I'll be behind the machine, it'll be fine. It'll be safe, not a problem.
Okay.
But anyway, so yeah, Paul the Party Animal Parker sent that in, and knowing him, there'll be plenty more coming like that in future weeks.
Carl, what do you think about that?
Machines and that.
Yeah.
Well, they've always been sort of. I mean, to a lot of people, sex is important, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Not to you.
It serves a purpose.
What purpose?
No.
Because you don't want to have kids, so what purpose?
Just, you know,
Something to do in the evening
something to do, innit?
when the telly's broke.
But for years, like they've found stuff, haven't they? Machines from like Roman times that similar to that setup.
No machines in Roman times.
Like that though, the old sort of knob on a stick machine thing.
The old Roman stick. I'm sorry, but I watch Time Team every week, and Tony Robinson has never done that. An old knob on a stick machine.
I just think of Julius Caesar sitting down and go, "Okay, aqueduct, we love that. Thanks for that. Straight roads, good idea. We can see the enemy coming. What have you got there?
Well, I'm glad you've asked.
Ploncticus. What have you got there? Wanklicus.
What I've got here is a Yodi knob. And I've put that on the end of the stick.
Oh, stickus phallus. Okay, well done, Wanklicus.
No.
Well done. You are my new right-hand man, as they say.
No,
excellent.
But they do stuff like that. You've been in the London Museum and that, and they've got sort of sex stuff from years ago. They've got like these metal pants that they used to wear.
I don't know what that is.
Metal pants.
Yeah, sort of.
Is
metal.
that a chastity belt? You mean? They used to make women wear them so that they could.
When-
No,
when-
but they had them for blokes as well, though.
Metal pants for blokes.
Yeah,
Why?
So he had little lots. So if he was away, he couldn't play away from home, and if he was away, she popped on a little.
No, I just think they sort of like sexy metal pants.
What? Oh, I don't know what you mean.
What
The
are you
sexy
talking
metal
about?
pants.
Well, we'll have to look because I haven't got it in front of me. It's just something I remember seeing, some sort of sexy metal pants that I used to wear.
But what are you saying? Sexy metal pants?
That was not British Museum, that was Soho.
No, what I mean
That was
is
Old Compton Street, you were looking
they
at the
always
shop
had to
window.
be ready for like battle and that, but these were a little bit sexy but protective at the same time.
I love that.
I'll have to look
I
into
love
it.
the
I'll
idea
have
that that's all you remember from the British Museum.
So Lancelot, are you ready to face the Black Knight? Yeah. What do you think of these? Huh? What do you think of these? Well, I don't really care. Just
I just want to look good on the battlefield.
Well, they're both protective.
Will there be women watching, cheering us on?
Well, you're not going to fight like that, are you? What about your
I'm going to wear nothing except these sexy metal pants.
But what about your chest is exposed?
No, well, it's a good chest. I'll be working out.
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is, you want metal all
I've actually
over.
been lifting up the round table every week. I just work out, do that about 4 times a day.
But that machine, right? Why did it have to be a woman, or could they have got a little gay fella in?
I
Let
don't
me
know.
just check. Doesn't actually specify the small print here.
I love that. Why do you want to see a little gay fella be?
I don't want to see it. I'm just saying they're sort of more.
Carl, why do you want?
I don't wanna see it.
Why do you want to
Don't wanna
watch a
see it.
gay man get buggered by a robot?
I wasn't the one typing in gay machines on the internet finding stuff out about them.
It's not a
Steve
game
was.
machine. You just made it into a game machine.
Yeah, he wanted to pleasure women with this machine. You're saying, can I see a little gay fella get a robotic cock up his arse? You're the one requesting that, Carl
I don't want that.
Pilkington.
I'm just saying that.
You're the one that want to see gay men with metal stuff up their anus.
What I'm saying is they're more up for a bit more experimentation than.
What are you saying? Why is that the case?
Why? Why'd you say that?
No, just they're just butt plugs and that. I mean, what I'm saying is.
What, you can't just say butt plugs and that.
I'm just saying that I reckon they'd be up for it.
What do you know
I'm
about
saying.
butt plugs?
I don't know anything about them. I just remember seeing an advert for some once in a sex shop.
What are you doing?
No, I wasn't. I was just walking past. I was walking past the sex shop and that, and
Your eyes
sort of
glancing,
looking.
glistening.
Why were you walking past a sex shop?
Just because I was on the way to work and that, and I passed one, and there was a little sort of one. It was open early, which I never understood. Right, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning. Right, and I
Who's
thought,
rushing out for
who's
butt plugs
rushing
that
out?
early in
Yeah,
the
who
morning,
needs them now? Right, but I
I
sort
must
of
get
had
a bagel and some poppers on the way to work.
I walked past it, and it had like a little post-it note or postcard type thing, and it was like pop in now, buy an item, chuck in some free butt plugs. And I didn't know what they for. I'd never heard of them before. But all I'm saying is I've since found out what they do with them.
What
And
do
if
they
they
do with
do that with them, then
Yeah.
give them a go on that.
I had another email here. This is they haven't given their name actually, but it's an interesting fact. I'm hoping it's true. America's first nudist organisation apparently was founded in 1929 by 3 men. Now, what intrigued me when I read that is the fact that it's clearly 3 blokes just trying to meet some nude women.
They're all 52 balding
Exactly.
with little so those gold rimmed glasses.
Yeah. And they're just wandering around, and it's all quite saggy down there, and they're just knocking on doors saying, "We've just set up an organisation. It's perfectly above board, completely
Yeah.
legitimate. It's a nudist organisation. You got any women in there that want to come and join us? Because
Why
we haven't
not
got any
really?
female members at the moment. Got any women in there interested in volleyball or trampoline?
I can't be doing with it, me.
You hate nudists, don't you?
Nudists. I don't understand what it's all about at the end of the day. And here's something, right? Do you know, like, when you're a bloke nudist, right? Do you ever get any who just have, like, a small knob?
I don't know. I don't understand the question.
What's that? What's your point?
Well, are there any blokes who are knocking about who just have a normal-sized knob, or maybe a bit smaller than normal, who are happy wandering about showing off what they haven't got, if you know what I mean?
I don't think nudists are just doing it because they're so proud of their knob.
No, but there's got to be a little bit of that in it, isn't there?
Why?
Say like Jonathan Ross, right? He's nipped to see you now and again and what have you.
He's what?
He sort of nipped in to see you now and again. He's always happy getting his knob out because he's known to have this big knob, right?
What
So
do you mean he's known?
showing it off.
Why is Jonathan Ross known to have this big knob?
No, he just talks about it a lot, doesn't he? He's always saying about, oh, you know, bet you'd like this, wouldn't you? And all
But that's
that.
like me. I'm known for being a great lover. I say it a lot. It's clearly not the case. What
Yeah,
evidence
but-
have you got that he's got a big?
No,
knob?
but the difference is he's happy to keep getting it out. It's different, sort of me walking about going, oh, I've got a big one and all that, and then but no one ever sees it. But Jonathan sort of he's always getting it out, isn't he?
Have you seen him get it out before?
I saw. Well, he did get it out, but I wasn't looking.
What do you mean you weren't looking? How do you know it was out?
Just because he sort of was moving it about and that, and I could sort of
So
see.
you-
No, I wasn't looking though. It was
But-
that sort of thing where you can see something moving about, but you're like, I'm not looking at it.
What, like an owl seeing a mouse?
It
That,
just
like,
what I mean. It doesn't matter. All I'm saying is
So no, let's get back to this. You remembering vividly Jonathan Ross's penis?
no. What,
Yes.
I don't mean that. What I
But
mean,
why were you looking at his penis?
I wasn't looking though.
Well,
I'm
it was
just saying-
clearly not meant to be looked at.
I'm just saying, most blokes who, you know, nudists, they must be pretty confident in themselves to, you know, getting it out. And I wasn't looking. It's just that. I mean, I looked once.
Okay, what was it like?
What? Sorry, you looked at John.